right, welcome to the Party Pals, GRC Mafia. Right out of the gate here, we are here to break down barriers, foster collaboration and community, working towards a more secure future for everybody. Definitely a learning and growing environment, especially throughout this stream. Go through, drop your questions, drop your resources and so forth. I'm actually going to go ahead and drop the stage link right now if you guys did want to come up on stage. It is going to be open stage for this entire stream here. That's what we try to do for each one. If you guys do decide to come up, feel free to just turn on your microphone. You do not have to use video if you choose not to, or you guys are welcome to stick around and chat. Now, to post links, if you guys want to share resources, or if you want to connect with everybody and share your social media profiles, you can go through and join our Discord server, go over to the live chat channel, and you could post those links there. Now, also, some of you guys may be aware, we also have the badges going on right now. So as of now, you can also go through and collect your weekly badge. So last week was week 1, and what we started doing is now every single week you'll get week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and so forth. I don't know when we will stop it. Maybe it'll be at, week 50 or week 100 or otherwise. But even if you guys miss a week, like let's say you collect week 2, which is this week, and then you skip next week and you collect it the next one, then you'll still end up getting week 3. So definitely go through, grab that badge. It's through the Discord server. All of that information is going in chat there as well. Just don't share anything that you guys don't want to be public. If you happen to do so, reach out to me on Discord, LinkedIn, or contact at studygrc.org. Like I said, definitely share your social media, connect with the rest of the community, and whatever resources you guys want to share. And you're welcome to come up on stage here. Welcome to the Party Pal. I see Cam, Rania, B-Dubs hopping in chat already. Bam, GRC Mafia. And then there was a couple other things. So also, Chris Hildago won the monthly giveaway. So every single month we have a giveaway, and Chris Hildago ended up winning it this month. So bam, GRC Mafia. We got the badges, we got that. Okay, I think I went through it all. I believe so. I'm gonna go ahead and transition over here. Welcome to the Party Pal, Regine. Oh no, the bot jumped to number 1 already. Yeah, good luck competing with the bot there. Oh yeah, and then also right before I transition over, what we're doing is originally, I'm going to keep mentioning this for the next, probably for about a month in total, just so that way everybody's aware we're not doing any of the paid sponsorship anymore. Not really something we're pursuing. But what we're doing instead is we're just shouting out other organizations or people, creators, and so forth that are within the space or, has stuff to offer there. And I'm going to go ahead and transition over here.
Want to actually learn cloud security, and I mean not just pass the test, but actually learn how to defend and attack real environments? Cyber's one-click labs let you exploit real AWS Lambda functions, escalate IAM privileges, and respond to incidents in live environments. You'll learn how to securely configure cloud resources, create your own custom incident response playbooks, and learn how to pen test cloud infrastructure to find real vulnerabilities before attackers do. Visit cyber.com to join thousands of cloud security practitioners and a growing community, and start your first hands-on lab for free today. Or use coupon code StudyGRC for 10% off our premium memberships. That's cybr.com.
That's supposed to be .com, but yeah, definitely go check out those free labs and so forth. I think it's an awesome value to the community. I also wanted to shout out Anti-Siphon has the pay forward what you can here, and I'm going to drop the link to this. There's all kinds of different courses that are coming up, actual classes where you can actually attend live, ask questions and so forth at $0 to very low cost for the pay it forward. I'm going to drop this in chat here. And then the last thing I wanted to mention at this get-go, and then we'll move over to our normal programming here, is they also have the Blue Team Summit coming up, which is 100% free to attend, and that's also virtual. So give that a look, and let me go ahead and move over now. Bam. How's everybody doing? Great week so far? I'm going to go ahead and get the resume up on the screen now somehow. Here we go. Welcome to the Party Pal. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop the stage link again if anybody did want to come up. But so we have this right here. And then if you guys have any questions or otherwise, we can definitely cover that. I figured since we only have one of the resumes this week, we can go through and talk about the STAR method again. because it's been quite a while. We mentioned, I think my audio could have cut out for a second there, but it's been a long time since we discussed the STAR method, and so I was going to pull that up again as well. All right. Welcome to the party, pal, AB. Yeah, there's a lot of different resources that are out there. We also have our resources page too. That's full of different stuff. That's worth taking a look at. But yeah, we just want to shout out some of these awesome things that are out there. Oh no. Rania. Welcome to the party, pal. All right. Oh, look at PBO popping in too. We need to get an ad roll for PBO going. Might I suggest Cam can go through and do the editing for you, but you just got to take some video of you in a boxing ring. Welcome to the party, pal. Space Tacos. All right. Welcome, Josh. Welcome to the party, pal. Don't forget to grab the weekly badges as well. So this is the very first resume here, and this one was fully redacted. So if you guys have any input, you guys are welcome to come up. You can also drop it in chat as well. I'm going to try to keep up with chat, but thankfully we do have B-dubs behind the glass and Rania over here. As soon as I get this customized properly. There we go. Oh, or not at all. What did you do? There we go. Okay. Master roaster. Oh God. I hope you guys can read that on the camera feed there. All right, so let's take a look here. So first, last name, we got the email, we got the LinkedIn, we got GitHub. All right. Secret clearance is up at the top. CompTIA, Pentest Plus, Security Plus, and Linux Plus. All listed up at the top there. So this particular individual is more so looking for a GRC related role such as audit or compliance area, and then which I think is a little bit of a change from what they were doing before. And you could see here on this very first job experience, large federal consulting firm, vulnerability analyst. So built Python automations to reduce data collection time by 50%, enhancing efficiency and consistency of false positive analysis in supporting federal compliance efforts. Developed intuitive tools for non-technical users of over 10,000. I think the layout is really good, and I think B-dubs would like it because it is a one-page resume.
I did my best to advise said person on their resume.
What?
Our person talked with me offline, and
this
we
one? Oh.
We had a consultation meeting.
I'm confused.
He resubmitted to have other perspectives look at it because I've already gone through it.
Ah, okay.
Because after last time, we had a lot of conflicting points of view from our wonderful panel. So I told him, maybe resubmit it and see what everyone else has to say. Oh, look, our disclaimer.
Yeah, there we go. Got to throw that up until PBO comes up, and then I got to throw his on. I mean, overall, I mean, I don't think it looks bad whatsoever. I think it's kind of odd with the certs up at the top. You don't really see that too much.
It is kind of a federal government contractor type of thing to put the certs up top, and it's mostly just so that they see that when they're checking the box for clearance and positions, because most, if not all, federal positions that are surrounding IT and cybersecurity require you to have at least the Security Plus.
Yeah, and here's PBO coming in now.
Was that disclaimer?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to swap that out now.
I wouldn't say conflicting points of view, just all equally important. What's up, R squared? How are you doing?
Hey, PBO. Living the life.
I saw federal. I had to come up when I saw the federal employment. That just kind of called my name. I was like,
I'm going to make a word cloud t-shirt for PBO, and it's going to have 853 federal government. Just
facts. George W's correct because of the 8570.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe it was like usajobs.com or otherwise that had a system for federal resumes. And don't they usually like to see like 4 or 5 page resumes?
5 is max now. They used to, they wanted like 20-page resumes. If you're looking at like a GS 12, 13 and up, like if you're at that level where in your career, you need to be having 10 pages or more. But I would say in the last 5 years, they made a big change, because all of these resumes that get submitted to and found qualified have to be reviewed by a human. And humans don't like reading 20-page resumes. So there was a big shift in, I would say, the HR hiring area of the government, where they were like, nah, 5 pages max. You can tell us your story in 5 pages.
Wow, that's kind of surprising.
It is.
That's funny, yeah. Mine used to be that long. Mine used to be 10. Because
10 pages was the average, I think, that I would see from.
I got offered a 13, 15 years ago. So yeah, they want you to have that level of length.
Well, and we also had Rhonda. Man, see, I try so hard. Rhonda ended up going through and presenting about how to, some different advice to get into the gov space and some of the different key takeaways on how to stay out of the gulag. I'm going to drop the link to just her presentation itself, but she dropped a bunch of information. It's an 11-minute presentation.
Where's she been at? I ain't seen her in a minute. Is she okay?
Oh, yeah. She's been traveling and so forth.
Okay. I knew you were connected.
Let's see.
What? Oh, go ahead, Chris, before I jump in.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, I was just looking over the top section here.
I guess for me, because I'm a NIST guy, and that if his project was doing this, vulnerability scanning would be under NIST, I would start putting some of that in there, because he had value if they were getting NIST or FISMA certified or CMMC. Vulnerability management has to be done in all those particular compliances. So I would kind of try to dovetail off of that. Like if this project was doing FISMA, I'd be like, well, I did vulnerability management for the FISMA part of that, or the NIST part, or the FedRAMP part. Because people like to see those different compliances at the federal level, especially when you're trying to switch over to GRC.
Yeah, there's just some wording that I think could be changed around, but also kind of like what it sounds like you're saying is actually throwing out like the different frameworks and standards that you have worked with, which I don't really see here. Because this particular individual told me that they were looking for like an actual audit role. So moving from the vulnerability management side of things.
And doing those compliances help you switch over to auditing role. So
yeah, and so like this section right here, trusted to lead high impact projects across diverse teams and environments. Maybe just, clean that up a little bit and just say like led high impact projects across various teams. and environments.
Or even putting like, were those projects related to those frameworks? You can toss that in there. So it's not just a project. That could be an upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem as tailored to more of the audit side of things per se. And then like this one right here, over a 3-month effort, verified ransomware linked entries of CISA's known exploited vulnerabilities, KEV, catalog using trusted intelligence sources.
I don't like that.
No? I mean, that sounds like a project.
It does.
I think it's just because he was contract, so you're not having that long-term prospect.
Yeah, this still says present.
He got 3 years out of it or more.
Yeah, but that position was specifically April, so, and they did have a bunch of shakeup in the last several months.
See, I don't even know if I would list it like that. I had multiple jobs in there. I just kind of listed as one, so it looked like I was there for 11 years. Like you said, I don't know if I like them that short, or make them more of a project basis.
Yeah, I definitely have seen them in different formats also, where, especially since he's under a contractor, where list the date from the very first position he held until present, and not put a specific date for each contract that he worked on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, R Square. And the other thing is, depending on the company, like I used to hang out with Booz Allen and IBM. I put all their methodologies in my resume when I was younger because I worked with them. Familiar with the IBM methodologies? Because they have then people assume you're going to bring that to the place or company you're going to work for. So whatever that big company is, if it's big enough and known, like KPMG, for their methodologies, IBM. I did a lot of work with Oracle. So even though I work for a small company, I pretty much said I work with Oracle, which I did. So I put all their I used to put all their methodologies in my resume, kind of beef it up a little bit.
Well, and then also I think it's kind of weird because they have experience, and then they have these 2 contract positions here, but then they separate out the rest of it to additional experience. I don't think that would be necessary.
I don't like that.
So what happened here was, it wasn't necessarily direct experience. So it was just kind of, it didn't feel like a job, so they separated it out, which is why they did that. I could understand not separating it, but I think they felt that it was too different from their work experience to really call it.
That's in the gray area. I'll make it all look the same, but that's who I am. I'm in the gray area. But yeah, I get what you said, R Square. But if I did it, I'm putting it on there. But
true.
Well, especially if it applies, such as cybersecurity analyst here. But this is also a recent one, so April to present. And so like right here it says assessed wireless networks across 18,000 access points. I mean, what were you assessing it against, or assessing it for? Or what tools?
Yeah, they could be throwing some keywords in there.
Yeah, like Wireshark, or maybe you're looking at the MITRE attack framework, or
I do remember with chatting with them that some of it might have been under like confidential, so I don't know if they could put the tools there.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
They would have to sue me because
God.
I wouldn't name the company. Long as you don't name the client, I think you'd be all right on that.
Well, I mean, like, you know this, PBO, with your DoD background, like the government has their own their own software for things and so forth.
And two, is most of the time when you work for the government, those are public RFPs they got to put out to bid anyway. You can find out 90%, which used to drive me crazy as a security person. It drove me crazy. I'm like, dude, we just told everybody what version we all. Then the big company would put it in there. Oh, you use an Oracle appliance. I'm like, dude, we just setting ourselves up to get hacked. So I would list it, but I'm kind of crazy like that. As long as I didn't list the client or the particular government entity, I'm naming it all.
Oh gosh. Yeah, and then next week and everything else, PBO is now in a black box.
Where's that disclaimer at?
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
We are not condoning disclosing, confidential information.
You're not disclosing this confident. All of it's out for RFP. 99% of what they got to do low bidders. It's out
PBO, that's true, but just like all the other public information out there, there's a lot of people that don't know how to access it.
Yeah, but I agree.
Radioactive loss.
But once again, I'm attacking R Square because I really like her. Most of those people don't know that they're not trying to hack you.
True.
Most people are not trying to get you. The people that know, right? If I'm a hacker, I know most of that stuff is RP. That's general reconnaissance. That's basic OSINT stuff. And I'm not even in that lane. That's with love, R Squared. I love it.
No, I can go from both sides of it, but
right.
I gotta throw the opposing side.
No, I agree. Let me tell you what the kids tell you when they do me like that.
Mysteriously disappears. That's 100% accurate.
I should have said this before I said no disrespect as I attack you, right? I love when people tell me that. No disrespect.
But no, that makes sense. I mean, like, I would just try to, like, assessed it against what? Or, they do stay, detecting misconfigurations and rogue devices. So I think it could just be maybe explained a little bit different.
Yeah.
Even if they can't or choose not to identify the tools used.
Identify. Because a lot of HR people look for certain tools, man. But go ahead. I get what you're saying.
That's true.
They look for certain tools at a certain level. And once again, the other thing is, as a big company at a federal compliance, I know they were doing NIST or a CMC or something. So I would try to say, then all of that would go for GRC on the technical side. I scanned it under NIST. I scanned it under CMC. We came up with findings that got pushed up to the PM, right? So now you start looking at GRC terms and all that time. Man, I need to be charging. I'll be throwing out so many gems. Shout out to me. Go ahead. Shout out to me.
You and your 830 videos.
Facts. Shout out to me.
But which reminds me, PBO, we need your ad roll and everything else, by next week, so that way
I gotta get up with Cam. Now Cam just looking and making everybody looking weak. I won't put out my normal weakness, and Cam out there spacewalking in an ad or something.
Just get some footage of you in a boxing ring. I'm sure Cam will make something really nice.
Facts, man.
And then also, like, the first bulletin point here too, for prepared forensic evidence for courtroom use within 8 hours. I think that just kind of sounds a little bit weird too. Maybe. Yeah,
but it's also kind of an odd situation. Mm-hmm. So I'll be the voice of fight on this resume.
It's a lot of odd situations in this.
It is, which comes with being a contractor consultant, because you're not doing a full-time job all the time. You're doing little things here and there, and it does get harder to tell your story on a resume when, your job lasted 6 months, 3 months. So the courtroom thing was more of a freelance consulting type gig, where it was someone's like, hey, I need someone to be able to do these duties and get this back to us so we can use it in the courtroom, which I think is a cool situation. I would be like, oh, court, what? I would ask a question about it.
And like R Squared said, what I try to do is, and she 100% right. I kind of try to make those special projects. I'm a consultant when they need something special. PBO is your guy, right?
That's kind of how I see this. Is like I would list this differently and actually just say like contract positions or contract projects.
Yeah, I did bring up changing the titles for these sections, which I think maybe they could be like short-term projects or just projects where it was something you did on the side or it wasn't your full-time thing. And I think that would make it seem less odd than calling it additional experience.
Yeah, I like special projects or something like that. The other thing with that, depending on what caused that forensics, because that's very rare to go into court. So I would spell that out once again. Were you taking somebody to court? What were you trying to do? Did y'all catch a hacker and you needed data to get in court? So I would kind of expand on that a little bit, depending on what it is. I mean, like I said, I think he's leaving out, not he or she, leaving out something. Yeah. I hate pronouns, but let me be quiet before I get all of us in trouble.
God.
But yeah, so
y'all.
Y'all. But yeah, so I would expand on that because that's a unique situation. I used to do stuff for Litho with goes to legal, but we never. That's because companies I work for were getting sued. But what is behind that? What's the technology you use? In case there's a lot of. I used to teach a little of that. There's in case. There's a bunch of other tools you need to do that. Microsoft has. I forgot. I need to look it up. They have their tools to get that information, so I think
for the forensic.
Yeah, for their forensics. So I think you should list those and kind of at a high level. What was the case? What did they ask for? Because a lot of times, because I was told you need to get this done because they charging us $500 an hour for legal, so you can't be dilly dallying, right? So once again, kind of spread that out and give a little more verbiage to it.
Yeah, not only do I think that it could be worded a little bit better, but then also I really do think that it just makes it really confusing to have the additional experience and not actually outline that this was, just underneath a very temporary contract, freelance type of situation.
Yeah, but freelance.
Well, which is why it said consultant, but they could definitely put freelance consultant just to.
As a consultant, I didn't put that together. I swear I ain't gonna even
or even underneath cybersecurity analyst, you could just do consultant and then you could do like short-term project or short.
For me, you need a little more because I was staff off. I was consultant. I just went to the client like I worked there. So I mean, for me, a lot of times I was just staff augmentation. So
PBO walking in. I own the place now.
I did. I gave myself a little office and everything. I made one of the conference room my office.
Well, a lot of what is it like Fiverr, or they have all those online
Upwork
consulting where you can just do small projects. I think it was something along that lines where someone reached out and was like, "Hey, I need someone that can turn around evidence."
Yeah, so I would do once again, like you said, short-term assignments or additional work along with that, so you can kind of separate them.
Well, and also like down here, they also mentioned going through and doing 3 to 5 weekly threat intelligence briefings for stakeholders. Like that's something I would probably put in the actual summary up here on the fact that they have that type of experience on doing like just in time.
Yeah, because
threat briefings.
And soft skills are really important. Being able to translate that and address stakeholders is a good skill. Even if they're not looking to stay in cyber, it's useful in GRC as well.
True.
Yeah, I think overall the language and just how they are positioning some of this stuff is really what it comes down to. I mean, they have a lot of experience. They do mention your STIGs right here.
Oh, I just saw that.
PVO and his STIGs.
Oh yeah. So once again, usually when you're doing STIGs, you're doing FISM or NIST. So once again, I would put that in there somewhere. Well, he's got NIST underneath it, the mapping part.
The 53.
So yeah, so I probably would expound on that. I would put that up in the summary. too.
Yeah, like especially if you're applying to like an audit role, then you could change this around and stop focusing on that vulnerability management as much, and try to position that a little bit differently on what experience you do that overlaps.
So I'm going to toss in there. I think they were still, when they wrote this, looking at a vulnerability management position specifically. So I think there's going to be some inconsistencies throughout it, because they were still like, well, I want to be in vuln management. So
there's a lot of vulnerability management. But yeah, I would, and in the summary, I would, just a suggestion, I would put one of the compliances in chart and link that to vulnerability management. Because each one of those, you got to do vulnerability management to roll up into NIST, FISMA, CMC, HIPAA, all of that now. So I would kind of tie that together to kind of bridge going from vulnerability management to IT auditing. Once again, he's in the federal space, so I would tie, he's got NIST and FISMA in there. So I would just kind of stitch all that together, throw it in ChatGPT and come out with something smooth.
Oh gosh. Yeah, just throw it in AI.
Facts.
Send.
Facts.
Yeah, but overall and everything else, I mean, that's some of the different stuff in here. And also, if you guys in chat have anything else to add to this, definitely drop it in chat as well. So yeah, bam.
What time is it? 7:30.
7:33.
My time.
Eastern.
Facts. But yeah, once again, just I would start dropping those kind of gems and tie them up together. Once again, this 800 vulnerability management's underneath there. I probably would put the security families vulnerability management's under. Once again, just kind of tie that together.
Bam. What other topics do we have? Did you guys have any questions, resources, or otherwise that you guys have out there?
Me? Or are you talking to the chat?
To the chat, to you guys, whatever else.
I suck at resumes. I'm not
What's
very
your
good
stream going to be Tuesday?
I don't know yet. I might do
federal resumes.
No, that would be incorrect. I send them to you for that. Go check out my homies that study GRC for the resumes. Somebody asked me a couple of data engineering questions, so I was going to pull out some of the data engineering stuff in AWS and see if it's NIST 800-53 compliant. Just kind of walk through a risk assessment on it. Shout out to Dave B.
Yeah, and then also AB says, do they include the years they earned the certs? No, they did not on that resume itself. And personally, I don't think you really have to list the dates as long as they're valid.
Yeah.
Unless there's something that has an expiration date and it like hard stops you from doing something at that expiration date, I wouldn't put it. Like, I think I had the Texas alcohol license at one point for selling alcohol. And that was important when I was looking for jobs that required you to have it. But other than that, I wouldn't, not for Sec Plus or anything like that.
My AWS has a hard stop. I still wouldn't put them in there unless they were invalid.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the position and what you're at. But I don't think anything in cybersecurity, GRC, IT specifically that I would put a date. Unless you're not keeping it current.
My Security Plus not current. I need to do better.
And then we did just get another resume submission as well.
Thanks.
I'll go ahead and bring it up. It does appear to be redacted properly and so forth.
We need to get the resumes on time, people. We gotta do a better job.
Just keep in mind.
It came in before the stream ended. It's good, right?
No, that's incorrect.
Yeah, if we can, go through and provide it and so forth, then of course. But yeah, I just wanted to give a heads up, like, don't take things too personal and so forth. Like, we're here to help and provide the advice on it. I feel like I might be a little mean about this one.
Uh-oh.
All right, so yeah, this is a 2-page. It could be worse. We've seen worse.
I just like to see NIST say 100-53. I get excited, but go ahead. I sound 153.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, they do mention NIST, but they also have ISO right afterwards.
Yeah,
but,
they need to split those two up. Go ahead.
I won't take too many points off for it.
Facts. Okay. Decade. Okay.
Yeah, so George, the last Thursday of every single month, we go through and do the group resume review and job readiness. So it's something that we did a couple times just because people asked for it. And then we started doing it the last Thursday of every single month. And then anybody can go through and submit their redacted resume through our contact form on our website.
Facts. Okay, they got AWS. I'm liking this person.
Of course.
My biggest issue here is that the resume itself comes out very ChatGPT. The margins and formatting is just I don't really care for.
Facts.
Like
Margins
especially
are definitely too big.
Yeah, and then like they have a table here, but like I don't know. I don't really like how that lines out. I think this would be better maybe in bulletin points at least.
Facts.
So you could have the 3 columns, but then put these into one cell under each title, and then put bulletin points on it.
I feel like they were just taking up room at that point.
Yeah, I don't like that section at all.
And it's 2 pages?
Yes, it is 2 pages.
So
the second page has their professional experience here. So public sector, finance, compliance analyst since 21.
Okay.
Led audit readiness for internal compliance reviews and fiscal controls. Maybe actually, I mean, they do list the frameworks and so forth up at the top. But
they need to list them there, which ones they did for that particular years.
Yeah, I would pull them out of that table section and put them into bullets and pop those margins to 1/4 inch or something, because they obviously have some decent compliance and risk and GRC experience. They could definitely benefit from the star format for those bullets.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think I agree with George here too, especially taking out those margins and reformatting it. I think they could probably get this into a 1 page.
This is giving me resumes from 2014, 2015 vibes.
Yeah, and especially like the current one, like I would want a lot more information about it. Cam says, should those be bulletin points or bullet point format instead of table column? So in relation to this, should they just be in bulletin points or? So
I would put them in bullets if you even kept them there. But I would ideally like to see those out in your used within the whole resume, not pulled out in a core competencies skills section like that.
If you're going to put it at the bottom, if you're trying to make sure HR scanner hits it, but
yeah.
Yeah, so like one of my other things here too is I feel like they just don't go into very much detail.
That was one thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so not only on that first one, but also this next one, produce dashboards and risk trend analysis using Excel and Power BI. I would rephrase that and I would say, collected data from sources or something along those lines to showcase that you did from start to finish, and consolidated or developed, metrics within Power BI and Excel, or visual diagrams, visualizations within Power BI and Excel.
And I would talk about specific KPIs you help generate dashboards for.
That's a good one too, yeah. Drafted internal control documentation aligned with public sector policies.
I would name some.
Well, and so they say drafted, but did those drafts get approved? So, like, even rephrasing that to developed internal control documentation. You could actually say policies or standards within that rather than just documentation, maybe.
Yeah, name a few. If you did some of the NIST 800, just say I did some of the NIST 800 policies, procedures, plans, poems. Just kind of name some of that.
Yeah, and B-Dubs is yelling in chat here, need metrics.
Facts.
Yeah.
Part of the start thing, you need the results, which I still suck at, but you need them.
Yes, and this is, it's 100% true too, Josh. It's really hard to rate resumes too deeply without seeing this specific job description. Otherwise, we're just guessing as to relevancy. It's true, because it should be tailored to the... There's
also standards that a lot of recruiters expect to see, which when you're putting in those resumes and applying and not getting past a phone screen, you learn really quick what works and what doesn't.
That's true.
Yeah, and George also mentioned the same thing in chat too on naming the public sector policies.
Boo on the sock too.
Oh gosh.
Boo.
Yeah, and then Josh does say agree. Yeah. This particular one, I don't know what particular roles they are pursuing. The last one we at least did have a little bit of an idea for, but yeah.
I was considering the same thing the other one was going, because they had the NIST, they had internal. So I'm just thinking GRC, federal compliance, and just pick your alphabet you wanted. But once again, I'm guessing on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so metrics, maybe rephrasing it a little bit to give more detail, throwing these into the actual job descriptions, right?
Name the NIST one you do, because, you know, did you do the little brother or the big dog?
And then they do have an accounting degree, which is awesome.
Shut degree.
The GRC masterclass. They got the solutions architect.
Me too. Shout out to them.
I'm not familiar with this one. I don't think I've seen the certified AI professional at all.
AWS has theirs, but like you said, they didn't name it. They got the AI Academy. I guess you could Google it. I've never heard of it either.
Well, and then they also say certificate in project management. Maybe define where you got that from. What do you guys like? Maybe they got that from a college or...
No. But yeah, they need to name it.
And then they also have the CISSP and CISA marked as in progress. What
they need to take that off. B-Dubs maybe take mine off. Shout out to B-Dubs. I had to take mine off. I think I still got it on there. I need to go take it off though. Facts. You've got both of them in progress. That's big time. I just got one. I got two in progress.
Yeah. And also we got other people in chat saying the same thing. That's kind of my thought too, is that, I wouldn't mark it as in progress. It does look like this individual would have the background to be able to pass those though.
Mm-hmm.
So compliance analyst since 21 and then plus previous compliance.
Yeah, because you got to have 5 years of experience. So
I mean they're over 10 years at this point.
Oh, they're just getting in good, man. I got
PVO in his 5 decades?
Close. I'm that old. I don't think I got that much experience, but I'm up there. I'm up there.
What platform?
Restream? They trying to join?
Are you using this video? I'm not sure what you mean.
I think he's asking about Restream.
I think he's trying to join maybe, but I'm with R-Square. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, so we use Restream for the streaming platform itself.
It's the best one ever.
Yeah, you're welcome to come up and join the stage if you'd like. But yeah, Restream, it works really well. We haven't really had too much of an issue with it.
Yeah, Restream's the best.
But yeah, I think definitely taking that CISSP and CISA in progress off of there. I think they probably just added it just to hit those keywords, but yeah.
And two, when you're scroll through real quick, Chris.
On what?
That I didn't see anywhere in your job where you never talked about what cloud you were in and what cloud you validated. Everybody wants to kind of figure out what cloud you're in. Yeah, but in the job description, she just I keep giving them. They said it, but when you look through their jobs down with the years, I don't see them in there.
They didn't tie it in.
Yeah, so.
They even have developed AI-based just-in-time training modules, reducing phishing incidences.
Which,
how does that reduce? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, that just doesn't really make much sense to me on the phishing incidences in particular.
Oh yeah, it does. It makes sense.
So
they got that off the website. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the website said.
I would say because it's just-in-time training, usually that means that when you do something and you mess up and you click that phishing link, it gives you a training module instantly, and then they know not to click the link. And so they saw a 20% decrease probably after people had clicked the links in the phishing emails.
So the part that I don't quite understand is the AI based though. Are they saying that they used AI to develop it, or they made it based on the vulnerabilities of AI?
I think a lot of AI platforms now generate their phishing using AI to train you. So I think that's what they're saying.
And then the AI can pull a training module that, or give them some type of training, like, hey, you clicked this link for a gift card scam. This is what you need to look for. So it might be making the training is what it looks like using AI when you click a phishing scam.
Yeah, that's tired. Yeah, it just sounded weird to me. Yeah, and welcome to the stage here. Did you have a particular question or otherwise here? We cannot hear you if you're trying to turn on your microphone or otherwise. You can also try the private chat in the bottom left-hand corner as well. And then let me pull this up to, yeah, and at least they do have some of the different metrics up here, but
yeah, I just feel like they could probably do away with some of the bullets in the positions down below and use those key projects and initiatives, especially if they were done in one of those roles. They already have all the experience. I would have that experience on page 1. Bump out the margins to make them smaller so you can put more information, and make those bullets 2 sentences, just like these key projects and initiatives are. You can add some more details in there to tell your story instead of 5 generic bullets.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also Davey also dropped a link there on some different key tips on how to list the certifications and education on your resume as well.
They were talking about the last book, directed AWS migration, security oversight for enterprise-wide SaaS solution. So once again, I would probably elaborate on that a little more. Was it on-prem, off-prem, lift and shift? Did you convert it from your on-prem to the new microservices type things? And then the 2, once again, is when you do that, you got to make sure it's NIST compliance, CMC compliance. How did you make all that mesh up? How did you sign off if there was any findings? So I would talk about the compliance program, security program, risk program, or kind of knitting all that together.
Bam.
What's up in my camera? Oh, there it is. Ooh,
yeah, geez, PBO. Come on, get it together. No struggle streaming, right?
Struggle
that never happens.
I'm struggle paneling. It ain't even my stream, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling on a panel. Shout out to Mozart. You're in the studio. Can speak if you like.
Yeah, you're in the studio if you'd like to turn on your microphone and so forth. That's the point of coming up on the restream side, is so you don't have to talk and chat. You guys are welcome to come up on stage, and I find it a lot easier to talk, even if you guys don't want to use the speaker or the video.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hey.
Hi, how are you? I hope you are doing great, and thank you for having me here. And this is, by the way, this is first time for me to know this. It's new adventure for me to do. Yeah, I just want to say hi.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. And then David B was also, dropping the for the badge in the wrong channel there. I see. Good job, David B.
Shout out to David B being an astronaut. I think that was one of his comments.
Yeah, I was gonna actually pull that up here too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, when we were talking about the CISSP and CISA up on the as in progress, then he said he's also in progress of a PhD and an astronaut as well.
Chris, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, go.
Have you interviewed David for your channel?
Interviewed David? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I might interview him. We both might. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, why haven't you interviewed David, man? You disrespected him.
I've been telling you for 6 months that I want to see more interviews on your channel. You used to do interviews with people, and then it's like PBO just started doing thunder punches and stopped doing interviews. I love the interviews.
I tell you, I thought I would get more views off my interviews, man. It just kind of hurt my feelings, to be honest. So I had a ton of interviews. I probably did about 30 of them. And like you said,
yeah, so if you guys are not familiar, this is PBO's channel right here. He goes live every single Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I mean, he's at 828 videos now. And I think he has his compliance playlist. If you go to playlists, and then he has government compliance and cybersecurity, that's full of awesome stuff. But then also on top of that, he also has done interviews too with people. And those are some of my favorite ones.
I've done a ton of interviews. A lot of people interviewed me too. So.
Yeah, I think he's those are the ones I like the most, is the interviews you've done. So there was one lady that you had interviewed that was like a personal favorite of mine. I don't remember, maybe Nancy or
personal favorite, but I don't remember her name.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was 2 years ago.
I just had lunch with her. I know B5. Was it B5?
No, it was your previous boss.
Oh, she wasn't my boss, but I used to say I report to everybody. And Julie,
that's who it was. Yeah.
And she was so nervous. I laughed. She was so nervous. Excellent. She used to work for Fortune 500 Pharmaceuticals. Her IM skills. She's an ISO now, so I was going to interview her again. She just got promoted to ISO about 2 years ago. So yeah, everybody loved Julie, man. I laughed.
Yeah, look at PBO going through and struggle streaming here.
Struggle streaming. I'm in my dining room, struggle streaming.
Yeah, this was such a great interview.
Everybody loved that. I got that a lot. But how many views I get on it?
142.
See, man, come on, man. I'm a lot bigger now, though, than I was back then. That's probably, 4 years ago?
Yeah, it says 4 years ago, May 24th of 21.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was one of my first interviews. Shout out to Julie. I'll probably do it again. We just had lunch probably 4 months ago. Once again, she's an ISO now.
Yeah.
That's my lawyer right there, penetration test.
Oh, gosh.
She's trying to be a judge. So when people say when I punch you in the throat, I do have legal representation in real life. In real life. But that's funny.
Hold on. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, PBO is not a spokesperson for Study GRC. Everything Professor Blackops says is his own words.
Facts.
And not that of anybody else's.
Facts. But yeah, I might start doing that again. A lot of people really like my interviews, so that's funny you mentioned it.
I'm just going to keep saying it.
I used to do 2 or 3 a month back then. I just didn't get the views for them. Once again, like I said, I was just like 86. I just hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Let's get Cam's like you. He loved the interviews. So I probably will. I got a couple of CISOs I'm going to interview coming up. I was reaching out to them. So,
well, come on, let's do it. Let's talk more action, PBO. I love the interviews that you've done. So, and Cam said the same thing.
How many videos does Study GRC got? Y'all been up there. Y'all been going pretty hard for a minute.
I don't know, about 300.
Okay.
318.
Okay, I was going to take it back. I was like, once I get under 200, I got over 200, so I guess I can't say that.
Gosh.
Yeah, Chris went hard there for for a little bit with the full-time streaming.
Yeah, I did that for a minute. To get monetized, I think I was going 4 days live a week for about 5 months. It was brutal.
I have no problem going live 5 times a week, but the problem is coming up with the topics for each day.
I was going to say.
That's the problem.
Well, you saw what I did. I just started going to the list of NIST because I'm a NIST guy. I just kind of printed them all out and just started going off and picking off the NIST special publications.
I mean, that is an option, PBO. I mean, we could just do 365 days of reading NIST docs.
So
I'm sure that would be a big hit.
So what I try to do is I try to do an interview, a hack, an article. So then that's kind of what I would try to, kind of rotate it. But like you said, after a while, it's like content is hard to come up with when you're doing it that much.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing though you got now, Chris, is I'm gonna give myself a shout out. When you got people coming up like an R squared, it helps out a lot, man. People don't realize how much that really helps you.
Yeah. Well, and then also, I'll go ahead and show the ad roll here real quick, and then I'll mention it.
Do you love cybersecurity and GRC? Do you like analogies stretched further than my hairline? Then do I have a channel for you. Hi, my name is Cameron, also known as Cam, and I want to invite you to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel at CamGoddess, where I dive into various topics, frameworks, terms, and foundational knowledge within the broad categories of cybersecurity and GRC. I'm passionate about these things and about taking complex concepts and making them more easily understandable, more easily defined. Everyone is a nerd about something, so come, nerd, learn, and grow with me.
Bam.
Was that Cam rapping?
It was.
Yeah, yes, that was.
That's solid.
Dropping
Yeah,
bars,
so
let's say in the hood. Dropping bars. Go ahead, dropping bars.
Yeah, I wanted to showcase that portion. So, like I've been saying at the beginning of the videos, is we're not going for paid sponsorship. We're just trying to throw out other people in the community that's just doing awesome stuff and creators out there. And like I was just telling Cam the other day that it's 1,000 times easier, especially when you start live streaming, to have other people up with you. Like at this point, I could just, worst case scenario, pull up NIST and start talking. But yeah, especially when you're starting out, like there's so many things that people out there can do. Definitely go out there, make a channel, have more discussions out there. Like it's awesome stuff.
And even though I'm small, especially when I see him live, I try to give him a shout out so my few viewers can go check out Cam. So
are you throwing shots, Cam? 4 half-hour videos instead of 1 2-hour video? Are you throwing shots now?
Is that to me or to you? Probably to me. Probably.
Well, our Thursday meetings are usually 2 hours, so now I don't know.
Probably both of us. I'm bad. You usually beat me up. You're like, we love your videos, beat me up, but they're 2 hours long. Like I'm an ex-professor, man. It's hard for me to do a 20-minute video. That's just me warming up, man. 20 minutes.
Yeah, it takes PBO 20 minutes just to start talking on the screen, much less get into the topic.
Yeah, I'm just getting warmed up.
So PBO needs to take a feather out of your cap and post his trimmed down videos.
Boo. No.
Sounds like a lot of work.
I'm working on it.
Just like those shorts, right?
Yeah, I did 2 shorts in my life. I need to do better. That's me.
Does anybody have any questions or other topics or otherwise that you guys want to discuss?
Yeah, we can pivot. I was going to talk about, I was going to do it today, but I was tired. I was going to talk about the T-app hack. So.
Oh yeah. I watched a video about that.
Yeah, so I was going to talk about it. Once again, they didn't have their Google Drive.
Public.
Yeah, it was public, which is from a GRC perspective, that should definitely be one of the checks. It's definitely one of the IRS checks. Go ahead.
Yeah, from my understanding, it's not even technically a hack because it was just public. Like they just typed in the address.
Well, the reason why technically it's a hack, it's spilled out to the public, to the people. It'd be different if nobody got to it, right? It's a hack. when you get sued by a class action lawsuit, that's a hack. But I know what you said. You said the person didn't have to hack them theoretically, but
yeah, like George says, basically OSINT then, knowing where to look for public info. Yeah, and I don't know the exact pathway, but they had all of the people, the entire database available on a public Google Drive or something, right?
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't consider it OSINT. OSINT, you got to do, maybe it's OSINT. For me, OSINT, you got to do some digging, some research, some links. Because I read the guy that found him. He's a security researcher. He said he just happened to see the link and went to it. I don't think that's OSINT worthy. Yeah, so OSINT, you got to do some stuff, but that's my 2 cents. He just said
OSINT just fell in his lap.
Yeah, so he just kind of went to it, right? OSINT, you got to do some stuff, scan some stuff, go to some websites, and I don't know. So I don't know. But yeah, the crazy thing though was the researcher looked at the rest of the website. He said it was phenomenally done. They just got lazy on this one particular section, which I thought was interesting.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it to, really speak to that side of it. But in my opinion, I mean, if they were doing that, who knows what else is wrong? But
the researcher, I'm just gonna pull him up. He found the original. He did some more researching on there. He said he thought the rest of the program was solid. He just said, and a lot of people do that when you go to those APIs that you're using from other vendors, they don't do the third-party assessment to check the other vendors.
Yeah, and a question for PBO. When did you start going by PBO?
I always went by PBO. One of my jobs, we used to joke around and call me Black Ops. And my older friend I'm interviewing, super smart guy, top 1%. He's 10 years older than me. He used to go by White Ops. And he used to say, you got to say your part before I say white, right? So we start going. Then I'm a professor. So I just kind of put that together. The PBO part is interesting. I went by the full name. Of course, I was on a panel with some people younger than me.
So in short, that was your DOD name.
No, that was actually my name. When did I start using that name? No, I started using that name when I was a consultant at the state. Long story short, I was on a panel and I had Professor Black Ops, and this young guy said, PBO, what's your thoughts on that? I'm like, well, who the hell is PBO? I liked it. I was like, oh shit, that's me. So that's how the PBO part came. I guess the guy thought it was too long. He just threw it out real quick. PBO, what's your thoughts on that? I'm like, who the hell is PBO? I'm like, oh, that's me. So that's how the PBO part came in.
Minnesota activates National Guard after St. Paul cyber attack. I live in North Dakota, right next to Minnesota. They activate the National Guard if there's ducks crossing across the road.
I was going to say, I've never seen that.
I don't know the details, but...
Yeah, I need to look that up. I need to put that in there because but the National Guard does have a cyber unit in there, I think now. So...
Yeah, Rania probably knows way more about this, but yeah, it's actually really cool. I've spoke to a couple different people for that. The cyber units that they have, it's actually way cooler than I thought.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same thing you do in active duty. It's just typically you'll have a skeleton crew of people that are on active guard reserve and work full time doing what they do. And then you'll have the weekend, just like the reserves, where they come on and, they're only paid 1 week in a month and 2 weeks during the year. That's how the National Guard operates. But I would guess that most of their cyber is AGR, like active guard reserve personnel. And then they pull extra people if they activate it.
But for me, a lot of times, you more military than me, obviously. I'm soft and I thought each job has a certain category. So what would make you a cyber National Guard expert? Because they got artillery, right, and different things and flood people.
So the Army has they have comms, they have cyber, infantry, truck drivers. Right. I mean, they have all the jobs. And any job that's in the active component of the Army is going to have the same component in the reserves and National Guard. So the Guard works for the governor of the state. So they're not federal first. They protect state and state resources. So when there is an issue within the state, whether that's natural disaster or something crazy out of the ordinary where they need extra help for their police forces or something like that, they'll activate it.
I guess I would, which I could be wrong, is I just thought that because I just thought that skill set was so rare that you just couldn't, be activating people from the National Guard with my skill set, I guess. So I guess that was was throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, it is kind of different because you don't typically think, oh, the National Guard, they have a cyber section.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of places, even here, back when Kelly Air Force Base shut down and the city of San Antonio sold or leased or whatever they did land to Port San Antonio, they had a whole cyber intelligence headquarters, and they had guard and reserve and active components all in the same building. So it is different to think like, oh, not everyone that's on active duty orders isn't active duty, but the guard does have active positions, the reserve has active positions, and they fill the same job. So anything that you have an expert on active duty, you'd still have an expert within the guard. It's just that the guard will get paid with state funds instead of federal funds.
The funny thing, yeah, because I used to work for DFAS, which is the financial part of that. And I remember when they were bracking bases, and that was a huge deal. Go ahead, Chris, because they said it was a coordinated attack on that. I was skimming it.
Yeah. So I dropped a link and so forth. I could drop it here in this other chat too. But yeah, so basically in short, I guess this went on over the weekend itself, and they activated it because the incident response went over the capacity for the state on what they had. Yeah. It did not affect emergency services, which we talked about that a little bit before in a previous Thursday meeting on the fact that what most people do is they'll go through and have the emergency services on completely different networks and so forth. So it's not affected in an attack per se, or ideally. There was one example I think we talked about before where a police station ended up getting breached, but they weren't able to affect any other departments or emergency services because they were isolated networks, not even connected to the standard open web. So
yeah, the cool thing a lot of times is when I work for the state, I was helping with a disaster recovery, and Department of Homeland Security came up and started monitoring it. I said, I asked the dude, I was like, why y'all here? They go, if a state's attacked and most of the big agencies are attacked, that could be happening nationwide. So once again, they want to be able to figure out if it's a coordinated attack on different states. So they were monitoring the state's disaster recovery to make sure they could do it.
Yeah.
Which I need to put that in my resume. Go ahead.
This article really doesn't go into very much detail, to be honest. But also it does state here that online payments are currently unavailable, and some services in libraries and recreational centers are temporarily unavailable. And it didn't hit emergency services, so mostly, I guess, just civilian-related stuff for the most part.
It just happened, though. It usually takes them 30 days before they come out with the full,
It's
report.
Thursday.
Dude, it happened, 2 days ago?
It says over the weekend.
Still, though, we would respond with a full detailed report for maybe a month almost.
Here, let me grok it.
No, that's true. I'm like,
I'm asking what the attack path actually was.
They won't know. But let's see. I could be wrong.
Maybe on Reddit. Go find it.
It probably is.
Tell Croc to troll on Reddit to find it out.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, somebody could post something ain't nobody seen yet.
Yeah, so apparently it happened Friday.
Is your service down? Some random subreddit, Minnesota State.
Yeah, and also bringing the National Guard into Minnesota has more to do with government being physically shut down instead of just the cyber component. State of emergency issued. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, each state has their own guard, which is going to be mostly people that live in that state. We had people that would live in another state and come drill because they didn't want to transfer to a different unit. It's kind of hard to transfer, like if you're in Texas and you move to Oklahoma, to transfer into that guard component, but it can be done, and they're supposed to. Because if you get recalled and you live in New York and you have to come back to Texas, it's kind of inconvenient. But yeah, usually it's when their force or team or whoever is overwhelmed and they need extra help. It's a state resource, so it's easy. Obviously, a city is still a local government. It's easy to repurpose them and to help.
All right, so cyber attack detected July 25th. City systems, it was deliberate and coordinated.
Sophisticated.
Yeah. Attack path, suspicious activity on internal systems, possible ransomware with data scrambling, entry holes being closed, bad actor removal ongoing, exact method undisclosed.
As it should be.
Information systems shut down, Wi-Fi outages in city buildings, library disruptions, network resource suspended, critical systems offline, emergency services unaffected. So, yeah.
That's pretty good, though.
Interesting. Well, and it also gets interesting because, like, with everything happening globally, like, I mean, that's what I'm kind of worried about. We've had the telecom system still affected for, a year now? Like, and it's too costly to actually replace. Yeah, and like George mentions too, probably a state actor. I mean, I think it would have to be a nation state.
No,
you don't think so? Really?
I could see
be some kid on an Xbox.
That's true.
I don't think it's. Go ahead, R Square. I'll let you finish your thought.
Yeah, no, it just seems very random that a nation state would attack a random city in Minnesota because every city, county, they all have different infrastructure. So being able to affect a city in a random lower population state like Minnesota isn't going to give you an insight into a federal system like infrastructure.
Thanks.
For the most part, it's not going to help.
Go ahead, Chris. He's chomping at the bit.
Well, yeah, because the whole thing around it, though, too, is look at the supply chain. Like, Minnesota still has a lot to add to the supply chain itself. It's not that it's an unpopulated area at all.
I didn't say unpopulated. I said lower population state.
Facts. Don't be putting words in our mouth. Facts.
Still, if you look at the St. Paul area, though, and you compare that to other populated states, like, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers offhand, but I mean, that's, very close to other locations as well. And nonetheless, the whole stuff going on with Canada and everything too.
I don't know. And it could be a nation state. I mean, who knows? We don't know the attack vector or, anything like that. But
yeah, we'll definitely see more details come out.
Yeah, the TTP from MITRE come out.
Yeah, the last part that I was going to add there is also if we look at like the hospitals and then also the water, utilities and so forth, those have been connected to nation states. So telecom, like all of these different critical services. So
yeah, I like Davey's comment right there about the guard being activated. I think the reason you're going to see more of the National Guard being activated for things, it's an underutilized resource that they don't have to pay premium prices for activating the guard like you would if you got a third-party company. It's not a bid system when you're pulling a state resource to come up and help.
My only problem with that is, and I agree with you, but my part is I can't sue the National Guard. If I call Mandy up and they miss something and it comes back, I can personally sue Mandy and they got deep pockets. I can't. Well, I could sue the National Guard, but
you could sue the state.
yeah, but so
pay out.
But so that's why. That's
but
why
it's
I was
also the city of St. Paul. It's a local government that falls under the state anyways. I feel like they're able to reutilize that same state resource.
I would use them at a certain level, but for the final, I guess, report or the thing.
I don't think they're going to be the final report. I think they're just making power.
Okay.
Because typically you're not going to see in any guard response, like when you have flooding, Hurricane Katrina, they were there to guide people down the highway, to, give out bottles of water. You're not saying that they don't have the skills and the abilities to do that, but you're probably not going to see it in a guard position at a level of what you would for like project management.
Facts. So no. So that's kind of my only. Like you said, you still gonna need a ton of manpower. So like you said, that's just a resource. Maybe less resource you have to pull from Mandiant or a lot of those a lot of times too. So,
but they're also quick to recall because they're contracted, to the state. You can be like, "Hey, Paul, I need you over here to respond to this." And
most big states, and I was surprised in it, we got people on retainer because we think if it's a nation state, you're not going to have time to bid. So we was paying like $25,000 just to get on the call list to be in the top 10.
Yeah. And I could see that in like New York or something, or like California, a big state, something that people would think about. But if you ask some random person in
facts
in France where Minnesota was, do you think they'd be able to point it out?
That's a good point. No. That's a good point.
Well, and so also I was going to add here too that like Cam mentions, we typically hear about the National Guard for natural disasters and so forth, but also think about the technology that's implemented for that as well. Because like I have been fortunate enough to talk to a couple of people on these very actually specialized teams for the National Guard cyber teams, and like they're doing all the technical logistics involved with those operations. It's way more insane than I thought. Like we're talking drones and imaging and weather data and all kinds of different things, supply chain even, like what are the best routes, like these very, very smart individuals. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The military in the cyber areas and intelligence, you have very, very smart, talented people, and they usually lose them to industry because they get paid better.
Facts. Me and my boss talked about it. She kind of made a decision that you're going to get somebody for 3 years. By the time you train them up and get them good, they're going to go double their salary. So just kind of keep that pipeline flowing.
Well, and also to mention here, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was done, Chris. Fire up.
Oh, I was going to mention, so I just looked it up. So St. Paul itself is 300,000 people. But then also other affected areas nearby. But some of the big companies, there's 3M has a manufacturing facility, which they do like adhesives and medical products. Yeah. But then also they have Eco Labs as another big one, which supplies cleaning chemicals for like water treatment and sanitation for food, energy, and hospitality supply chains. So those
Why
are
are you
two.
Saying that, Chris? Why are you saying that?
I'm
we
saying
don't care.
That because
it's still
like,
peanuts.
What is the objective?
We don't care, Chris. They're a private entity with private money. We do not care. They're big. They're big boys.
He's talking about like
he is. You hurt his feelings. He got to look up the actual population. Chris was offended.
300,000 is like Anchorage. What the heck is in Anchorage? Yeah, they have headquarters, but what are you going to get out of it? Nothing.
Well, that's where I'm trying to be like, okay, well, what's the purpose of St. Paul in particular?
Nothing.
Which is why we were saying it's unlikely. It's a possibility, but is a nation state actor really going to attack St. Paul, Minnesota?
This is another quick true story. I had a network in my house. Somebody hacked it. I had a specialist from DOD come over. He said, dude, somebody from France hacked your little box. I was like, how do you know it's France? He said, they changed your character set. So I was like, why would they hack my box? And this is an interesting thing he talked about everything. He goes, you're practicing your network skills. They're practicing on you. I go, oh shit, I never thought about that. So, but yeah, that's so funny. Maybe they were practicing a little St. Paul to get a little better.
well, and that was another portion that I was going to say too is that, you know, it could also just be testing as well.
Facts.
But yeah, St. Paul is literally right outside of Minneapolis. So it's literally like a 25-minute, 30-minute drive outside. Horrible place. Not my favorite. Not as bad as Iowa, though.
I see little Prince out there.
George saying, other worth noting, the federal resources have been hampered recently, so entities like CISA or other federal entities may not be readily available. That's another good mention, too.
Yeah.
Like, good point.
Yeah.
Cost cutting a little bit.
I forget. I think it was like 4,300 people from CISA or something.
Which
I
is
might be
crazy
wrong,
to me, but that's a whole nother stream.
That's a PVO
Which is
stream.
also interesting because they're still hiring, but they're focusing. I've seen a lot of focus on SkillBridge, pulling
I saw that too.
people off active duty into
You
CISA.
know exactly what SkillBridge is?
Yeah.
What is it?
So it is an opportunity for service members that are exiting the military. So when they decide they don't want to be in, or if they retire, but typically it's going to be people that spend, 1 term, 2 term in the military and say, no, I'm done with this. It's not for me, or they don't want to put in the time to retire. It's focused at giving them an opportunity to intern or apprentice with a company. So like all the big consultant firms do SkillBridge, and any company can apply to be a SkillBridge operator. They just have to give a position, like set up positions for service members. So the service member will still be on active duty, but they'll be on like terminal leave. So the federal government will still pay them the salary, but they'll be working for that company full time instead of going to their job on the base. And it's just a chance for them to reskill, learn how to write a resume. It kind of builds on what they learn in TAP when they're transitioning out.
Okay.
But it's a great program, but I've seen a lot of people get denied a SkillBridge opportunity based on, like, if they have a higher rank, they get I think it's 6 months is max. So they can go 6 months from the end of their date and they can work for a company for 6 months or whatever the SkillBridge opportunity is. So it really does depend on the company and what they're offering. But you'll see at higher levels. So if you're, an E7, E8, higher enlisted, that your SkillBridge typically be like 3 months because your command doesn't want to loan you off to this company and pay your bill for a longer time. But you obviously have more years of experience. If you're at a higher rank, you shouldn't technically need the extra, but the commanders of the units have to approve it. They have to get permission to be able to do it. And some commanders are, no, you don't need that. You're going to leave? Fine. You can find a job when you get out. So, but it's been around for a while. I mean, I looked at, it wasn't there or active that I knew of when I got out in 2016, but I think it was pretty soon after that they did start doing the SkillBridge programs and marketing it better.
I just seen it listed on a few jobs. I was kind of perusing. I was like, SkillBridge. I just didn't.
And they do kind of have some opportunities for like military spouses for SkillBridge, especially for those that are active duty military spouses. So when you move with your spouse, your active duty service member, you get uprooted. So it's not as robust of a program, and it's kind of hard to find military spouse SkillBridge opportunities, but they used to have them at least in like 21, 22. I remember seeing them. And then you won't really see them as a veteran. It's really targeted to people that are currently within their last 180 days of service.
That's cool. Crisco, I see you with the ransomware group.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at it and so forth. And I just found that part interesting as well. One of the other major things for that area was a cyber attack on the public school systems back in 2023. And Med USA or whatever ransomware group ended up claiming responsibility. I mean, I just think that was nasty, personally. You're going to go through and ransomware a public school. Like, yeah. But I mean, hospitals and so forth have also been massively targeted. So,
yeah. Especially rural hospitals, they've been getting tore up the last 4 or 5 years, man. So I've been
wasn't it Texas that got like for weeks they were down?
Texas, Cali, they hit a lot of
a bunch of places.
Schools. Yeah, they were getting. Yeah. It was just like, but I never thought HIPAA was very good. I need to dig. I think high trust obviously is a lot better, but I think hospitals struggle with budget and talent.
Yeah.
Did you say that SkillBridge was also available to veteran?
Yeah. No, it's typically aimed at people getting out. So if you can't make it within that the 6 months of terminal leave that window, you have to go through a veteran type program, which there are a lot of opportunities for veterans to get into those same type internships. But yeah, SkillBridge is targeted to active duty.
I don't think I've ever heard of it before, but I find that interesting. Welcome to the party, pal, David B. I take it you finally caught up at your 4 times speed on the video?
Yeah, I caught up and I've been listening. I've just been busy trying to get other stuff done. It's the end of the month, so I do timesheet, expense report, blah, blah, blah. Fun stuff.
Sounds like some, awesome tables there.
Yes. Yeah. What I was going to make a point. You were talking about Minnesota a whole bunch. I used to work at Ecolab. I went up there for training, and they're literally, they call it Minneapolis, St. Paul, right? Like it's right there, and they only have 2 seasons up there. It's summer and road construction and winter. But something I thought about, and not to be political, but however, that state has a lot of, they brought in a lot of refugees from different areas. You have Waltz, who was just running for vice president. So whether it's somebody internal doing that, or it's a nation state actor or crappy actors doing it just to possibly stir the pot to say, well, red versus blue or whatever. So I don't know. There's always something to keep in mind. Like,
and look at this. David B comes in, and now I got to make a whole disclaimer for David B now. I think everybody would understand where you're coming from with that aspect, and especially in the space these days on the global scale.
Fact.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so, it could be anyone. You don't never know. And people claim things, whether they did it or not. So,
or they try to or they try to show that, like direct that that it was coming from inside the house. You know what I mean? The call was coming from inside the house. So
yeah, it's something that I think we should definitely follow up on. PBO is going to have to do a stream when we finally get more information on it.
That's
I don't
true.
know if I'm gonna test. I don't know if I'm gonna test those. Those are so common now. It's just like
Really, PBO. Wow.
And PBO, I'd be blessed if you wanted to get back into that interview game and you chose me to interview, man. I'd be blessed to be your first one back after all those years.
I might do that, man.
Well, you used to make videos on the different breaches and so forth.
That's true. I remember.
I got no views.
Are you just doing this for views, PBO?
Yes. No, I'm just playing.
He's honest though.
Now, if I was doing that, I would get out the GRC game totally. If I was trying to get views.
Yeah, you're right. You have to make some random. Protect yourself now.
No, I tell you, people try to get me relationships. That's one of the biggest things. That red pill, blue pill thing is hot. So, but no, I don't want none of that. I want none of that smoke.
Well, talking about relationships, what about the tea? Like spilling the tea from the app that the ladies and all that.
I was going to do that one because it was so negligent. That's why they got those class actions. You just left the bucket open.
Slacking.
Go ahead.
You haven't uploaded an actual video upload in 5 months, and before that, it was a year.
I know. I'm looking at my live though. Give me some love.
348 views ain't enough.
No, man, come on. That's a year old. That's one of my highest ones.
No, some of your Security Plus videos have 1,000 views on it.
A couple, not a lot of them. Man. None of my stuff really has 1,000. Man. See, look, 79, 896. See, I need to just retire from the game.
No. You just need to, talk about the topic involved and less about 53.
The spoof and go back down. That one had 2,000. That's probably one of my highest ones.
I remember PBO back in the when I first got on the Discord. I was like, "What is this Discord thing?" And Kev Tech was promoting PBO.
Oh yeah, shout out to Kev Tech. He helped me grow a lot, man. He gave me a shout out. I had a couple big YouTubers give me a shout out.
Do you know what this means, PBO? Because I don't.
I had it. That was one of that was Cisco before Cisco. Like Cisco was hot. Novell was one of the first operating systems before Microsoft kind of took over.
Did Cisco buy him out or something?
No, I think Novell just kind of fell off.
Petered off like Netscape.
Yeah, but yeah, Novell was hot. My Novell kind of got me in the game, but what the big cert that really kind of got me paid, I was an Oracle certified DBA. That's really where I made my first kind of, as a kid say, made my first bag. But yeah, Novell was one of the first networking. I used to own my networking company with 3 other guys, and we used to go around putting in Novell networks for small legal offices.
As Rania would say, you're showing your age.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. Man.
Sometimes
I thought you were talking about a novella
too.
that you were writing or something.
No, man. I don't even know what that is, man.
Novella about all the breaches. We could have a whole box set.
Yeah, I'll probably start
and have a younger, taller, slimmer version of PBO on the front.
it is.
with his hair like
AI generated, right?
AI generated. Yeah.
Go to my LinkedIn. I got a flip phone. That's probably 15 years ago. I'm in a suit. I go, this was the slim PBO.
With a Motorola Razr.
It does. It looks like that. I need to change it.
Yeah, and that would be a lot more than just AI. That would take some severe photoshopping skills.
That is incorrect. That
is
incorrect. I'm making a comeback.
LL Cool J said, "Don't call it a comeback."
I'm making a comeback, man. I actually walked 3 miles this morning, and my calf locked up. I had to call an Uber.
Oh damn!
I can't walk. Got to call an Uber. It's a little hot this morning.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Really?
I am. I was like, oh shit, my calf locked up.
You called an Uber for that?
I did. I keep my phone with me. Long story short, my neighbor was jogging and broke his ankle jogging. I was like, yeah, I need to keep my phone. I'm getting old. I want to
So to everybody who's on here who this is a good lesson to all of y'all. Go outside, touch some grass, move around. Don't just sit in your chairs all day.
Right.
Looking up GRC stuff or cybersecurity stuff. Make sure you go to the real world. Get some exercise.
Complaining about the NIST.
No, don't be out there looking up AI hallucinations. I bet they're looking up AI hallucinations.
Yeah, he's looking it up on his phone while he's walking, and that's why he trips and falls. And
Probably. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Nature is deadly.
Yeah,
Especially
don't forget your
for
phone
you
when you
people
touch
up in
grass.
those northern states with that thing called winter.
Winter.
Oh, are you actually, finally directing that entire conversation now? Because I feel kind of personally attacked already.
I don't have winter anymore.
We have grass for like 3 months out of the year.
I know. Yeah, so in those 3 months, you should have been touching the grass, but I'm pretty sure you hold yourself up down there in the basement.
Allergies.
Allergies.
The sun, it burns.
That's funny.
that curtain behind him doesn't just block the sun.
I literally have every single window with complete blackout. I don't like the sun. And then it hurts even more. I have to put like severe sunglasses on before I even walk out the door.
That's why he wakes up at 4 a.m. so he can beat the sun, rising.
It's just
He
really
can
quiet.
get past all the windows before the sun comes up so he can.
Are you a vampire, Chris? You can tell us.
gosh.
Do you shine like diamonds in the sunlight, Chris?
Yeah, and like George also mentions the standing desk. Yeah, especially if you're at the desk a lot, like that is one of my favorite investments is the standing desk. And the one that I have now was literally on Black Friday sale for $100. Like, absolute great investment.
I bought one on Amazon, and it is pretty good. The one I got, I don't know the brand name, not that it really matters, but they have one at Sam's Club. I kept watching. I was waiting for that price to come down, and it still didn't come down. So I said, "Well, I'm going to Amazon."
Yeah, I think the standing desk is a really awesome tool.
No, you just need a
They make some really cheap ones too that you can just actually hand crank. I don't know if anybody knows how to hand crank anymore, but you know.
No, they took those things out of cars a long time ago. You don't need these hand cranks.
I mean, hey, whatever works.
You know how many people that hand crank killed in real life? I mean, seriously, because it'd get caught and the combustion would kick over. Yeah. Not that I'm not that old, damn it, but PBO, you're not that old. I'm talking
about Windows. A window hand crank.
Oh, I thought you were talking about cranking the engine with the crank.
Oh
my bad.
God, I think there's like an 80-year difference there.
Yeah, I'm just making sure we're apples to apples.
A little bit before the time frame, but you know that hand crank probably kills some people.
Facts.
Just trying to figure out how a window hand crank.
I know what he was talking about.
I did too after he talked about combustion.
Yeah.
Before that, I was like, "Dang, what kind of windows
there's
did
a reason
you deal with?"
They made the engines with the shotgun shell.
Mm.
There's still farmers out here who have equipment that. Yeah.
A lot of people don't remember, but I bet you PBO might with me. Remember where the high beams used to be on the car? That little bitty button on the left hand side. Yeah, you would push it with your foot. That's how you turn your high beams on.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron, you know, it's okay.
Once upon a time, before I became an aircraft mechanic, I wanted to be an auto mechanic.
Bam.
That sounds like an interesting story. And then all of a sudden, GRC.
I'm still working. Still getting there.
PBO even has a video on that automotive one too. I think you don't give yourself enough credit, PBO. I really don't. Yeah, shout out to PBO.
I give myself shout outs every day, man. But now
I'm over here saying, "Oh, people don't watch it."
They don't.
Come on, PBO.
Now, one thing I do give myself credit for that you seen a lot. I got some nuanced videos that a lot of people, like you said, T-Sax, ITAR. Most people don't have that. A lot of people don't do a lot of IRS work. So I
like your T-Sax video. I watched that entire thing like 1.5 times. That could have been a 25-minute video.
No,
it could have been.
I want to give the audience their time, and when you sign up with PBO, it's an experience.
And nonetheless, that's 129 views. That's 120 people that you've helped. That on a framework that nobody knows about.
But let's look. But then too, I listened to somebody mukbang, which is basically smacking fish, and they got 5,000 views. That kind of hurts my feelings.
Well, you should lead with that PBO throat punches. The NIST 853.
That's true. You just need some type of controversial titles and thumbnails, and they'll come.
Yeah, we just need some video footage of him in a boxing ring, and then Cam can spice that up a little bit for his intro.
Yeah, he just needs to have a punch coming at whoever on his thumbnail.
Get you that Hulk glove. You don't have to go get you that little Hulk glove that you give to your grandchildren or something, right? You know,
no, wait, what is that? The Infinity Glove thing?
Yeah, oh, there you go. And then somebody can, quickly adapt that, and we'll get Haircut Fish to help out a little bit. And the next thing you know, it's all
Marvel. You'll get all the views.
Facts. George W. hurts my feelings. He said some of them get 5 million views. Facts. So it's just weird, but I'm fine with that, man. I came to do GRC and this, so I am comfortable. But it's weird. I'm like, man, my video's okay. How they get 5 million and I get 25? 25.
Just like Cam said, clickbait, and they'll come.
Facts. And it's weird because the stuff I never think would get a lot of views, get a lot of views. And the stuff I think I did get 100 views. So, but once again, it is what it is.
Well, I'm eating. That's why I don't want to show them. But I'm curious, how long do you have to watch a video, Chris? You know this, I'm sure, before it counts as an actual view.
It kind of depends, but they don't actually state how long, and it gets a little bit confusing because technically in the analytics it tells you on how many people stayed past 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So you know how you could do the math and you could figure out like your total view count, but usually it's 30 seconds or longer.
Yeah, because you could tell, because that tells you if they're into your video. Because if they're not into it after 5 seconds, people click out pretty quick nowadays. It's like, yeah, you lost 30 videos.
I feel like the shorts are a little different.
Yep, 100% on the shorts.
Well, and that's we could go through and schedule an entire stream on assisting
analytics.
PVO on his live streaming. Not having a 10-minute countdown timer or just being on camera for the first 3 minutes and not saying anything. We'll go through that, PVO. It will help you out here.
I'm fine, man. I'm good with most of that, man. I'm just kind of in where I'm in. I'm not.
I know.
I mean,
I feel like this turned into, let's judge PVO time.
No. You're fine. You're fine. I'm a big boy. I love constructive criticism.
Yeah, criticism. We're giving
constructive criticism.
Key skills he can upgrade.
The cool thing about me, which is good and bad, is I'm a curmudgeon. I'm just gonna do what I do. So it's kind of like, yeah. So
you're gonna complain about it too, though. You're like, damn, this.
Yeah, I always do that, man. One of my bosses told me this. And I tell all my bosses this about me, and it's good and bad is. And when I was at DOD, he said, you can get off your chest, but we're going to do what we're going to do. So I get to say my mind and get back to work. So you don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. I'm just going to salute the flag and keep going, man. So I just always said, I don't like your decision. I don't like what you want us to do, but I'm going to do it. So that's a bad decision, but let's roll.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is Center of Excellence like a new buzzword?
That's an old buzzword. We were saying that in 95. I hate that term.
Are they like bringing it back? My company has been creating centers of excellence for everything.
Back. It's coming back. It's annoying. It's so annoying.
It's another one of those pushes just like Sci-Hi.
Facts.
I was like, I just wanted to know if it was like everywhere because I see it right here. I was like, is it happening everywhere or was it just isolated to my poor company I work with?
No. What happens is, which is good and bad, is executives kind of catch on those buzzwords and everybody run them into the ground.
Yeah, everything has a center of excellence.
Yeah, even when we suck, we got
this live stream is a center of excellence.
So you're stretching right there.
Even when we suck, we're a center of excellence.
Ron, you hit me up on LinkedIn and said, how have we not, already been friends on LinkedIn? I'm like, my bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean,
that was not a center of excellence.
Who's really the one to blame there, though?
I don't know. I'm older, so she.
Well, and so the reason I pulled this up is because this was in the news feed for NIST, and I wanted to pull it up because they're telling us all about this virtual event that's coming up where they're going to talk about the secure software development, DevSecOps, and it relates to the 800-218 for secure software development framework. But I don't see anything on here they say that it's free to attend, up to 500 participants.
Oh.
Do we email them to be put on the list or?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They usually take your email and lock you in.
But it just says for any questions, email us at. It doesn't say, to register, email us at.
But it says limited 500. So that's what made me think of that. But like I said, I'm guessing. My favorite boss be like, don't be guessing now. So
what if the 500 have already signed up, Chris, and that's why you can't sign up now?
True.
But then I guess that's a possibility. It was posted earlier today.
Dude, this is from the government, right? NIST. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, 500 though. That's all I could. I mean, what's going on with them?
because they don't want to pay for that
limit on
platform.
Teams.
that
Yeah.
Zoom license. Yeah.
Yep, they don't
Yeah,
want to
team
pay.
license out the wazoo, man. I'm sure they got the E5. They ain't got the E5 from Teams.
But then you have to bring everybody on board, right?
No, you can.
No,
I
you
think
can
guess
have
email.
people.
Yeah,
Oh, you
guess
can on the. Oh,
Mhm.
well, never mind. My bad. Forget.
you good,
Belay my
Keith.
last.
Yeah,
you
you'll
good.
just say unverified.
Yep, facts. But then a lot of hackers gonna show up, but hackers gonna show up.
Yeah, I noticed that Teams even has like an entire webinar feature, so you could do an event page and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
So,
and then no one can chat or talk or put their
Yeah.
mics or nothing on.
You block
is
the
probably
camera
like
so
what's-
nobody can. Long story short, I came in the state of Indiana. We did a big one. Somebody came and mooned the whole audience. That was the coolest thing. I like, yeah, we forgot to block the cameras. I was like,
Oops.
That's hilarious.
he wasn't.
I'm always
happy.
that guy. I don't know about y'all, but I'm that guy that's always muting everybody else in there, and they don't know how they got muted.
Mute, that's
Yeah,
me.
but I'm like, well, you got 3 cats going on behind you. You
that's
know, there's
me.
a baby crying. I
that's
hear the
me.
fire department's out.
Oh, look.
Damn, he done
Facts,
muted me.
me.
That's some
Facts.
boats.
Nah, fact. I'm the mute king, man. If I hear one drop, I'm like, dude. I mute
I had
everybody.
to do a training for a volunteer opportunity, and there was a military captain, and she had a hot mic, and I even tagged her in the chat, trying to not like call her out too much. Nope, didn't get it. Ding, ding. She's over here texting, ding, because we were required to have our cameras on for it.
Kathy, shut your damn video off. Your sound's on, Kathy.
Nah, what you got to do though is a lot of times is because I used to do those big meetings. I start off with the PSA. We need to make sure everybody's mic's muted. We want to make sure everybody has a great time. We'll make sure everybody's involved. Once again, we want to make sure everybody's mic is muted unless speaking.
And then you get 10 more people that joined late and didn't hear that PSA.
Now, facts.
I don't know about y'all, and just to round out the conversation, but every time I join a meeting, I join it muted and my camera's off, just in case.
Facts.
Just
Maybe.
in case.
It sounds to me like David can go through and give us a presentation on like meeting etiquette and so forth, especially in the digital realm that we find ourselves in.
Facts.
Okay,
now
yeah. I mean, I see how Chris does that. He's like, it's not my idea, it was your idea.
Yeah. But the
It
cool
was.
thing though is in Teams, you can do breakout rooms. There's a lot of functions in Teams that a lot of people do that I've read about. I've never done like breakout rooms.
I guess we don't have we don't do that. I would love to do something like that.
So maybe that might be the wrong one. Maybe that was Zoom to do breakouts. I think you could do both
No,
breakouts.
Teams has breakout rooms too.
Yeah, you could do it in all of
I
them.
ain't never used them though.
Okay. There's a lot of things inside Teams that I'm because
See, ain't never.
Yeah, because it's
Well,
got. I think I
like-
sent it to Chris the 20 programs you get for included into your E3 license. Man, there's so much in Teams that people never even get close to using.
Every single thing that Microsoft offers has so many features that you don't even know how to use all of them.
Facts. I've been
I
listening
just
to
love how they
these.
keep building on the old source code too. Like just, we'll just leave that behind. It ain't
Oh
gonna
my
affect
God.
nothing. You see that comment? I
Well-
commented it out. It ain't gonna do nothing.
Facts.
Well, and
Facts.
it's not like that stuff's open source though.
I 100%. I agree with you. But if you can get in that kernel, you can. Shoot, I mean, come on. CrowdStrike did what? No, I'm just kidding.
CrowdStrike, yeah, I was about to say.
Shout out to
I'm not
CrowdStrike.
that familiar with it whatsoever, but I have heard that like Windows still has,
Yeah.
the underbelly of like XP and so forth underneath it still, because they've never built it back from scratch. So
That was one of their, which I disagree with, is they're being backwards compatible. The government really needed that because they take so long to move forward. So people.
I have a website that still runs on Internet Explorer compatibility mode.
Yeah.
So my daily job, Chris, it needs Internet Explorer compatibility.
does it need it or they just want it?
Needs. No. It cannot operate outside of Internet Explorer compatibility mode.
I hope it. Well, see, I was just gonna say I hope it's air gap, but I guess it wouldn't be if it needs
No.
Internet Explorer.
I was gonna say,
Nope.
Air gap's a fallacy, man.
A fallacy. Uh-oh, now we got a topic. New topic. Air gap. It don't mean shit.
No, there was 3 attacks on air gaps where they were doing it against like the your monitor or something, and you could read it through the wall or something. People would jump through air gaps. So very unlikely, but you could do it. Go ahead, Chris.
There's a really good video that I'll share as well that goes along with that, where he goes through and he explains like these researchers went through, and now you can literally go through just with your phone microphone and listen to the noise from your GPU or computer, even your typing. So if you set your phone on your desk, they can listen in through your phone or other devices, even through your own computer, and be able to decipher out what data is actually being ran. It doesn't take any high-tech technology at all. Or they also do have technology that could go through a wall and then listen into the noises. Now, I mean,
that's a Mission Impossible type shit right there.
It is, but once again, it's research.
Super easy.
Very improbable, but you can do it.
You can get the electrical impulses, and the difference between an on-off is going to make a difference. But to read it that fast, how are you actually going to determine what's going through there? I mean, that shit. I mean, it's moving at the speed of light ish. So my point is, how do you capture that?
I'll send it to you.
That's above my level.
I just seen the research, man. I don't.
You did? You saw some research on that?
Yeah, I find it. It was on. Yeah, there's a ton of it.
So there's this video here. I'll drop in chat and so forth that goes through and talks about it. And basically, the way that he explains it is because of how the actual GPU is ramping up and down and the noises that it's making, they're able to transfer that back into actual data.
Gotcha.
And it's going to definitely be. I mean, it's not like that's probably going to be to everybody. The bigger concern is actually like with typing. Because, like, for an example, if you like, I use a separate keyboard on my phone. For an example, I don't use Google Keyboard or otherwise, and other apps or the operating system itself can, tap into the microphone or the sensors on my device and still be able to figure out what keys I'm typing based on me using my touchscreen, for an example, or just from the audio.
Like how far your fingers are from the speaker or the microphone.
Correct. Yeah. Or even if I have my phone on my desk and then I'm typing on my keyboard, it's still able to figure out roughly like passwords and so forth, which is more of a threat and easier to implement than pulling your, what's running through your GPU.
Oh yeah,
but
you leave that TikTok app open on accident. Boom, boom, boom. It's listening.
I thought it was that Red Note.
Red card. What?
Red Note.
We're talking. Oh.
What is this, soccer?
Red, yeah, exactly. Red, yeah. Red Dawn. What?
I think it was called Red Note that everybody was swapping over to when TikTok was banned for like 3 days or whatever.
And
but it was a Chinese thing as well.
Correct.
Facts.
It was still Chinese owned.
But it's got privacy, y'all. It's got privacy.
Facts.
So I wonder, is there any more information about Proton? And,
not that I've seen, no.
Sweden, or not Sweden? Was it Sweden? No.
Yeah, Switzerland. So they're currently based in Switzerland. Yeah, and basically they halted all their investments because Switzerland is trying to develop and pass a law for mass surveillance, which would require them to be able to decrypt user data within Switzerland. And so Proton has gone through preemptively and halted all investments in the country. And now they're investing into EU. It appears that they may be looking at Germany. I think it was Germany or Norway is where they're looking at relocating their server and infrastructure to. They have stated that they're investing 100 million into infrastructure in the EU, but they haven't disclosed what location of the EU. So people are assuming Norway or Germany because it has better laws than what's happening in Switzerland. But that's why I brought that up last week, is because that is a huge, massive move. Like, and Proton's way bigger than I thought they were. So, over 100 million active users.
That's crazy. So, that's a crazy number.
Yeah. And to preemptively, before this law even goes into effect or passes, they're already halting investments and moving services into other regions. Like, that's crazy. So, And like we can make a whole stream out of it too, because like there's so many different things that coincide with that. But also, you know, like the EU, for an example, it's not necessarily any better. They keep attacking the encryption, you know, whether or not you're allowed to use encryption, they keep attacking. And now there's a whole thing with them requiring ID for age verification now as well.
Yeah, they want a KYC basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like now, in order to access like a not safe for work channel on Discord, if you're located in the EU, you have to show photo ID.
Oh wow.
So.
Oh.
But you shouldn't be doing that at work anyway. But okay then.
Well, yeah.
Good point.
But hey, I got something for you that I learned today. I'm going to mess up the word just because it's a fun one. But I'm curious if anybody watching or on the panel knows about item potency keys. There we go. Did I say it right? Item potency key, or a bearer token. Okay.
I've heard of
What
it.
does that mean?
Go ahead, Doug.
Oh no! I want to hear your version because
go ahead. I don't want to mess up. The only reason I know that a lot of times is from programming standpoint and infrastructure. They use bearer tokens for identification and authorization and a lot of web services. But go ahead. That's when I see you.
No, you're yes for 100%. The client I was dealing with today had we were doing their SOC 1 part of it, and I blatantly told them, I said, you know, I know little of this, but I don't, and they were explaining it to me. And then I got my chat GPT to explain it to me like I was in 5th grade. So yeah, now I got a double explanation. But the bearer token, yes, exactly. It's just to say like, this is the person that you want to be dealing with. And the item potency key, which is spelled IDEMPOTENCY. Weird word. I messed it up so many times today. But it actually just makes sure that you don't duplicate the same thing. Like, so if it's a charge or a payment, the bearer token says it comes from this person. Yes, it's verified. Okay, great. The item potency key is what tells it, say, you know, the API, and says, okay, charge them $5. And then so if you hit the button again, you remember the old bank stuff, it says, do not hit this button more than once because you can be charged again. So that's what the item potency key does. It helps. And they'll hold on to it for, you know, a certain amount of days. And basically, if you sent that again, they'll just send you the same response.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I was just curious, anybody else on here?
Yeah, as a programmer, once again, we used to deal with that. And the other thing where they came out of is a lot of times I messed that word up. It's off a blockchain, so you can your audits, and you can never change your audits too. That's when I seen that it was kind of put together. But yeah, from the web service calls, those tokens, a lot of times.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than the non-repudiation, but it's very similar. It's very similar. So I was like, oh, I was trying to, again, when I'm trying to put it all together in my head and compare it to something, and I just kept getting stuck on the damn name for so long. Item potency. It just sounds like a made up, you know, a southern word, like item potency right here. This is just, I tell you, the heat's going to drive me crazy.
No, you're right. But that's why I tell a lot of times.
Nobody. Okay, I don't see nobody in the chat.
So when you come from programming, a lot of times you get a lot of those type of things from programming, so you can bring them to GRC. So. Gotta remember, Dave, I programmed for 15 years before I switched. So
I step away for a moment, and now it's programming, and we got Apache links.
I'm talking about.
I am just joking. Okay. Yeah, that looks like a really good share. Davey. Yeah, it was Davey who posted it. Bam.
Yeah. But no, you're right, Dave. So yeah, I got like I said, a little background in that from and two, a lot of times they were talking about the bear token.
Yeah.
From Big Daddy Hawk. Is that the same person?
Yeah. So that's Davey.
Just on
okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Which honestly, I just made that connection as well, by the way, Davey, because like because that's a little confusing. But yeah, okay. So a bear token's just a barrier token. That's all it is.
Bearer.
No, I wasn't saying bear. I'm sorry. I was saying bearer, but I guess
no, that's what it is.
Bearer. No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying I haven't heard it called bear, but I guess that would be the singular. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, on the Apache docs it says bear token. So
yeah, like I said, I've done that, but Oracle made it easy for you to do. But it's like, just put this in there, it'll happen. I'm like, okay, cool.
You don't need to know what it is. Just toss it in there. You need it right here.
The cool thing, it'll be more secure. Okay.
Well, and they use the barrier token for the APIs for AI as well. So
Yep.
Bearer
okay.
token, not barrier. Different words.
Fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the Great Barrier Reef, man. I was like, let's go dive. That's what happens when you don't get sunlight, Chris.
Facts.
That gray matter deteriorates, Chris.
I'll let you know. I just had blood work done and my vitamin D levels are fine. The vitamins work.
Facts.
Oh gosh. Last call for the weekly badges, just so you guys know, you can hop into the live chat channel and drop GRC Mafia in capital letters. You'll get a check mark from the bot when it's successful. You collect that each and every single week, and then you also get like a week 1, week 2, week 3 added on top of that. So we are coming to an end here. We're over the 2-hour mark already. We typically try to keep this to about 2 hours. I do think we kind of went off topic, but we had a lot of great discussions. Did you want final last remarks, David?
Yep. Sorry, I'm eating some ice cream. I'm just enjoying. I got a vacation. Gonna go.
You're as bad as space tacos. Not
Oh
even
yeah.
sharing.
Oh, I can't. I mean, your blood work. Yeah, like Cam brought up your blood work. You might not be able to take that ice cream. So I don't know.
Facts.
Anyways, no, it's always great talking with all y'all, and I was hoping I had a interview with somebody, Coffee with Mafia. That's my shorthand. I know, and they said that they would possibly put up their resume. I didn't see it tonight, but hopefully next time they will put it up there if they want to get some extra advice. And I think the program I only did it once, but I think it's working well. So I encourage anybody that just wants to chat. I see Chris is putting it up with the hashtag Coffee Mafia. So anyways, looking forward to getting to know more people and get better at this whole GRC game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Remember that.
I'm really glad that you mentioned it, actually, because I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the video in the first place. The best thing to do is go to our website, studygrc.org, to see all of the different offerings I tried to add on there because we never had it before. But yeah, Coffee with the Mafia is a new thing that we have where it's you could go through, book. It's a round robin setup, so it's very easy to go through and book a meeting, and then I'll randomly select one of the volunteers. If you guys need any, have questions about projects or a resume review, mock interviewing, you can go ahead and actually put in the description, hey, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I need help with. And then absolute worst case scenario, if they're not familiar with it, then they know who to refer you over to. So, and that's completely $0 and always will be.
Yeah, and to that point, I would say come prepared. The person I dealt with did come prepared. I got to see the question. No, I mean, it's just great when, if you're actually going to use it, hey, talk about anything, but it's mostly supposed to be about the career and all that jazz, right? But the person came ready, had a long list of questions. I said, let's go. So it was awesome.
Bam. Yeah, shout out to Cyber Stoic. Bam. PVO, final last remarks?
No, just enjoy the stream. Great info. That's all I got, man. Running out of gas.
And what was that topic for next week?
I don't even know yet. I'm deciding still. To be honest, I'm still deciding.
Maybe you could line up an interview.
That could be on the agenda, man. I need to. A lot of people requesting that. And once again, my views were so small, it hurt my feelings. But I probably get that going.
B-Dub's got a calendar. Maybe she's got an opening.
Facts. She would definitely be on the list.
Rania, final last remarks?
No, just
nothing.
Great stream. Thanks for everyone coming up and being part of the community, and we're here to answer questions and direct you to resources. So always reach out. Don't be worried. We're here to help.
Yeah, 100%.
Sound like you said, don't worry, be happy.
Don't do it. Be happy.
Yeah, 100% leverage community, reach out, hop into Discord, drop your questions and so forth. There's plenty of people out there more than happy to help. Also, PBO, B-dubs, her people will talk to your people. So there you go.
I appreciate that.
Hey, does that light ever work behind you, PBO? I mean, I've never seen it turned on.
Oh, it's so
Shocking.
It's so bright that it's blinding when I put it on.
Gotcha.
And I lost the remote that came with it. I'm trying to find it, so I can't figure out how to dim it. So it's just kind of like, so
it's in the junk drawer.
Yeah, I probably will cut it on one day just so you can see how bright it is. But yeah, no, it does actually work. Shout out to my job; they had a custom made for me when I was leaving. So they brought me a Yeti mic, which is super expensive. And if you look at my interviews, this big Cam. Long story short, he had a master's degree in cybersecurity, and he just, where we were working in the state, they would never move him on to cybersecurity. So I liked him, and I just told my boss is hard. He was like, well, I don't know. I'll take care of him. So long story short, he's on. Once again, I interviewed him on. He's called Big Cam on my channel. So I call him Tiny because he's 6'9", 425. I used to call him Tiny.
You know who you could interview next week, and I'm sure you can line this up, is Before the Billions.
Yep, B2B. We had a good conversation. He's on my list, so
that would be a good one to interview. I think you could line that up by Tuesday.
Yeah, because he's kind of in the middle. He's a data engineer, so that's programming a little infrastructure. So yeah, we had a good conversation a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that too, Josh. Is like you could fix that and make it not so bright.
Yeah, that's too much work, man. But man, probably they're like, yeah, that's too much work, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for hopping up here on the stage. Thank you to everybody in chat, all the questions, and we had a bunch of awesome discussions.
Real quick, I'm interrupting you. We need to see y'all tomorrow at 12 Eastern time for the what's the social. Everybody come on board tomorrow at noon. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. So we have the Friday AMA at 11 o'clock Central Time every single week as well.
I don't like how you said that, but go ahead. I don't like how you said that.
I'm going to be an hour late then, I guess. Darn it.
Facts.
11 a.m. Central Time, noon Eastern.
Facts.
There you go, PBO. There you go.
Now that was for you. You forgot to give us a shout out.
Hey, I was in the middle of going through everything. We also have our resources page. We have the Discord server. We have that Coffee with the Mafia. PBO streams on Tuesday nights. We need to get an ad made for him so we could roll that. But yeah, thank you to everybody. We had some awesome discussions. One of the different things I'm noting down is to circle back around to that situation that's happening over there in Minnesota in particular. But yeah, and then hopefully PBO can get some interviews lined out. But you guys have a great rest of your night. See you guys tomorrow. GRC Mafia.
Do you love cybersecurity and GRC? Do you like analogies stretched further than my hairline? Then do I have a channel for you? Hi, my name is Cameron, also known as Cam, and I want to invite you to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel at CamGoddess, where I dive into various topics, frameworks, terms, and foundational knowledge within the broad categories of cybersecurity and GRC. I'm passionate about these things and about taking complex concepts and making them more easily understandable, more easily defined. Everyone is a nerd about something, so come, nerd, learn, and grow with me.
Are you looking to break into GRC or cybersecurity or simply level up your career? Hi, I'm Brittany White, better known as B-Dubs. Discover insights and actionable advice at brittwhite.io, where I drop a GRC-related article every Monday morning with a video read-along from my YouTube channel. Visit brittwhite.io today to explore articles to empower your hacker mindset in GRC, and sign up for my free newsletter to receive them straight to your inbox. Are you worried about cyber threats but don't have an enterprise budget? I also work with small and medium-sized businesses, bringing them practical, affordable cybersecurity solutions so they can focus on and exceed in their mission. Visit meet.brittwhite.io today to learn more and schedule a free consultation.